Hello, listeners. Hi, my name is Madhavi, and I'm so happy to have you on UppTalk. You have come to the right place if you want to learn about IT and do really cool things with your hands. We are not just another IT company when I say UppTalk. Think of us as your learning partner dedicated to helping you reach your full potential. We have top notch hands on courses to help you build your business, whether you are new to technology or want to move up in your current job. Let's look around this as our first step towards learning.
Again, boxes. I love boxes. We have this like Workday, right? Which is say, this is the Workday cloud. In Workday cloud, wherever we store data, the data is stored in multiple objects. It's an object-oriented, object-based model. Anything which is there is an object. If you have to compare it with your database related stuff, an object is, you can compare it to SQL table. For example, in Workday, a very common object is worker, right? Worker is nothing but an employee. That's an object. Now then, location is an object, cost center is an object, right? Customer is an object, supplier is an object. I was saying anything in Workday is a kind of object. That's how it is stored. Each object has different attributes, which we call as fees. A worker business object, for example, say if it is worker object, it will have different fields like first name, last name. Right? Even cost center is part of it. A worker business object, then you have company, you have location, job code, whatever. Are- Right? These are all fields. Worker is an object and then it has different fields. Now, if you see inside this, there are some fields which I told you are objects as well, right? An object can also be a part of an object. Right company is also there and location is also there. As I told, you can compare it that this object is a SQL table and these are the different fields. Now there is something called as a data source. Right, and this data source you can, if you want to remember it, you can consider it as SQL view. But you will never use these terms. This is just I'm saying that you can relate to it and you'll be able to understand. SQL view, what's SQL view? SQL view is built on SQL table, right? Where you have the SQL table plus a condition. Similarly, a data source is also a same stuff. A data source is built on an object with some specific condition listed. Like for example, there will be some data sources like a very common one which we will see in our demo. Data sources all active and terminated workers. Right? This is a data source which is built on the business object worker, but it has a condition that it will give you all the active and terminated employees. That's why the data source. In Workday, whenever today we are starting on the topic Workday reports. In Workday, whenever you have to create a report, the first thing you have to find out is what is the data source that you will be using. And that depends on what requirement you have. Say you got a requirement that build a report which should give you, say, 10 fields related to the worker, and it should give you all the active as well as terminated employees. Right? You can use this data source. For that, Workday has given you different tasks which will help you. But as of now, did you guys understand this concept? I will try log into the tenant, but then never use the term, as I mentioned, SQL table, SQL view, or something like that. It is just for you to correlate and remember. That's it, terms. We will use this object. Object has different fields. And then there are data sources. Data sources are built on objects, right? For creating reports, we have to use the data source. Go. Then let me having issues logging in, right? This is for all of you who are seeing Workday for the first time after logging into Workday. This is how the screen will look like, right? This is a demo tenant. You see, this is a demo user. If you click on this picture, it is the user. You can view like, once you log in, you'll view your profile. You have again all those things of changing passwords and all those stuff. Then on the left hand side, here you have this button, which is inbox. Any notifications that you get, like for example, if you have to approve something. For example, you're a manager. You've got a request for a new hire, approval and compensation change or anything. Leave approval. This is the place where you will get that. Right? You can submit, send back or cancel. That's the place which is called this Workday inbox. On left of it there are notifications. Notification is something that if you have run a report or any such stuff which takes time, right, you can just it will give you a notification later on. You don't have to stay on that screen until your reports complete. Once it completes, it will come here. This is the that work, this symbol. If you click on that, it will again bring you to the home page. And then in the center, you have this search button where you can. There is no navigation as such, right? And I remember in people's software, you have different navigations where you can go and stuff here. This is the search bar, and you have to type there and you will get it. Right. Now, creation of a report. What should be the name of the report or name of the task? You have to just say create. Create report. Then all the tasks or actions related to your search will come up. Right? There are many stuff. Now we are doing a custom reporting. Our task name is create custom report. That's how you do it. When you click on create custom report, you have to give the name. You have to choose the type of the report, right? For our session, we will do simple and advanced. Simple is just for your basic understanding, but advanced is the one which will be used for integration. And then here you have to choose the data source. These are the three wherever involved. You see a star mark. That's where you will have to. And it will enter value. Required fields. Data source, as you see, is required. Report type. You have to choose and the name. You have to choose. But then, before going and creating, first we will see how to see what all data sources are available. How many business objects are there? There's a task. I dream we have to make hourly broadcast. Please do like, share, and subscribe to our channel. For more information, contact us sales@therightuptalk.com.